Hi, dreamers. What a wild ride this week was. As you can see here, the Dow Jones was down over 2%. And some of the reasons included the potential Iranian attack, some of the inflation scares, and even though banks reported better than expected earnings, a little bit of a muted next few months. And so those fears really fueled a little bit of a drop. So I thought I'd weigh in and give you a little bit of, I guess, reassurance. And also show you how I hedged my bets a little bit through options. So the first thing that I'd say is, over the last 2 weeks, I got about $5,000 in dividends and interest since the beginning of April. And so just as a reminder, it doesn't matter if there's war, inflation concerns, or temporary earnings concerns. Just remember, your dividends and interest will continue to roll in. And that's one of the benefits of being a dividend investor. But the other thing that I did, which was really interesting over the last 2 weeks, was what I did to hedge the potential drop through a bunch of laddering calls. And all told, I've collected about $8,300 in options premiums over the last 2 weeks with my same conservative strategy, but a little bit of a twist. You see, over the last 2 weeks, I've only done 10 puts and only one has assigned, with only 2 left over of TQQQ at 58.5 and 59.5, expiring April 19th. The rest of them have been calls. All in all, 123 call executions, buy to close and sell to open. So let me show you an example of what that looks like. So here you can see AbbVie, where I sold a very conservative call for $3.77 and then just let it expire. Then I sold another call for $10.42 and I bought it back for $1. I sold another call on the same lot for $15.32 and then bought that back for $4. And finally sold another call for $37.32. And you can see this one expires in 3 weeks on May 3rd. And just to give you a snapshot, AbbVie is at $162 right now and has only broken the 180 mark recently. So all in all, with AbbVie, I made about $62 in premiums. Let me show you another example with NVO. I sold a call on 4-1 for $11 and another one on 4-1 for $34. Then I bought both of them back for about $3 and I sold them both for $17, which I let expire, and finally sold 2 more calls for $47. This one expires next week on Friday for $137 strike price. And so total I made about $106 on NVO, and the current price right now is $124. And so you can see how I bought and sold the calls in order to make more money over the last 2 weeks, hedging all the way down. Let's take a look at one more example. Qualcomm. I sold a lot of Qualcomm with a strike price of $182.5, and for that I got $13. I bought that call back using buy to close for $1, and then I sold it again for $36, and I let that expire. Then I sold another call and got $35, and I bought that back for $3, which I then sold another call to expire next Friday at $177.5 strike price for $100. And so total across Qualcomm, I made $187, and the current price for Qualcomm is $171. And so like I said in the beginning, this whole week I've been really just focused on calls as the market continued to sink down, selling a call option, then buying to close it, which I have a dedicated video on how to do that if you're interested, and then selling another call, and then at times buying to close it in order to sell another call. And with all of that pretty conservative low delta activity, like I mentioned, I made over $8,000 in the last 2 weeks. And so while the drop kind of hurts, the options really help me hedge against that drop, which I of course drove right back into my dividends. And that's just one example of a type of strategy that I'm using on options. Specifically this week, during a down market, really just focusing on calls. What will I focus on next week? Well, if the market rises, you better believe I'll be focused more on puts. Hope that was helpful, and I hope you had a successful week with your dividends and options. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this dividend income update. And if you want a richer, real-time experience with me, you can always follow me on Instagram or X. And if you're doing your own research using Seeking Alpha, feel free to find the link below to subscribe if you want, no pressure. As always, I encourage you to do your own research, then implement and learn by putting it into practice. And as a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so keep in mind these videos are for entertainment and inspiration only. I'll see you on the flip side.